Joe posted a Twitter poll about the second idea.
Yeah.
Because the top idea for the Bills is to go hunt down a stud pass rusher, right?
Yes.
Whether that's Garrett, people like Crosby here, Max Crosby, Khalil Mack is a free agent, he'll be free.
Josh Sweat's a free agent.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
I think defensive end is an obvious target for the Bills, and I don't know that any Bills fan would say it's not a target. It's just a matter of, how much you're willing to pay into that, how much you want to buy in. And after that, what's the second idea? So what are your options I can vote for?
A safety like Javon Holland.
Okay.
Cornerback 2 upgrade.
Benford, number
that would imply
one.
over Douglas.
Okay.
A top defensive tackle.
Right.
Or an Amari Cooper replacement.
And this is free agency, not draft, or really
I
either?
put free agent / trade.
Okay.
Because that's going to come first.
That's right.
Trade doesn't necessarily have to, but, free agency will. Free agency is going to come.
And any draft pick, they could draft a receiver, and we would hope that guy is good. Or if they draft a corner, we hope he can be corner too. Or defensive lineman, same.
Right.
The one thing about...
It's almost kind of like, what do you want to leave for the draft?
Right.
What do you want to do? What do you want to make sure you've got done before you get to the NFL draft?
That's a good way to put it. Because last year, we watched them go to the draft, and let's just take the receiver position, because that was a lot of the headlines last year. They signed Curtis Samuel. They signed MVS. No, that was after the draft.
That was after. They signed Samuel and Claypool, I think, before.
Okay. And they traded...
Mac Hollins. They signed Mac Hollins.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mac Hollins and Samuel, and they traded Diggs. And what did we think? Oh, they need a receiver.
They're going to draft a receiver.
They left the receiver to the draft, and they drafted Keon Coleman.
Yep.
One thing about that draft, though, it's supposed to be the crazy, sick, loaded wide receiver draft, and they came out with one, which is a little bit disappointing. They only came out with one. Now, this offseason, the comment there from Bean about Cooper, I know the defense is going to get most of the headlines. If we're trying to finish up the offense and get that other receiver, I don't really know that there are any ideas people are going to love right now. Last year in the draft, felt like there were a lot of good ideas. Mm-hmm. Coleman would have been one of the ideas, of course, but move up, take a guy, get bold, whatever. Right now, PFF's list of free agent wide receivers, the number one option is T. Higgins. He is franchise tagged. You're not going to get him.
Yeah.
The number 2 option is Chris Godwin, who just redid his contract with the Bucs to give them more time to land on a contract.
Right.
That's probably not going to happen.
No.
The third receiver for PFF.com and their wide receiver free agents, their third option is Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
That's where you're at. It's slim pickings.
I thought you were going to say Diggs was next, and that's obviously off the table, too.
That's probably off the table, yes.
That's what ESPN has.
And they also
their top 3 is Higgins, Godwin, Diggs.
Okay.
Well, no.
Don't need Diggs. I mean, listen, if they were a time machine, you can get Diggs from 7 years ago, then yes. That's exactly what you...
But he's a slot receiver now.
Right. Now he's twilight of his career. I don't really know what the plan is here. People will say DK Metcalf, but the Seahawks indicated that they hired their offensive coordinator based on interviews where they planned what Metcalf's role would be.
And the 2 top, actually, AdamRankNFL.com this morning has he has an article the 4 players that should get traded this offseason.
Is Tyreek Hill one of them?
There's 2 receivers, Tyreek Hill and George Pickens. Is that just no thank you on both automatically? Just too big a headache? Not good enough to warrant it? How good are they in the first place? Hill is going to be expensive, and that's in division. Pickens is a psycho who's fighting people during interceptions, and he's yelling at whoever.
Isn't he not the good kind of psycho, though?
No, he's the
bad
you
kind.
You can't predict what he's going to do on a play.
And he takes a lot of plays off, and he doesn't try.
Yep, and he has a lot of drops because he's just not focused or whatever. Because again, he's you can get in this dude's head by you just fight him on one play, and the next play all he wants to do is punch you in the face, so he's missing a route. So he seems like someone that is legit. This is not wide receiver diva. This dude's head being on straight might be a bit of a project.
Right. They seem to battle with that in Pittsburgh.
Do the Bills think they could do a better job of keeping that dude's head on straight?
I don't know. Maybe. Teams that get good always get that benefit of the doubt. We watched the Patriot way be a thing where they'd sign a guy and say, you get him in that room and you'll be okay to handle that.
Sure.
Our conversation with Tyler Dunn last week was about this kind of move where, the Bills might need people that have enough talent to make others uncomfortable, but you just kind of deal with it. I don't know. I don't love the Pickens idea. Drafting one, they could have one fall to them. Cooper coming back on a short-term deal, being there is complimentary. The tone, if you read that quote, you'd say, like, oh, all right, they scored more points when Cooper was dressed and in the lineup. Mm-hmm. That's maybe true. Did he get out-snapped by Mac Hollins in the AFC Championship game? Tell me something other than we scored more points when he was in the lineup. Okay, you didn't play him.
He did mention the injury was a part of his story here too, but a wrist injury.
Sure, he didn't get on the field. Or did you guys score more points when he played 12 snaps?
For him, what's more important, whether he was on the field or not, or that they threw to him when he was? Because they did throw to him when he was out there.
Right.
So is that an indication that he just wasn't as up to speed with everything as the other guys? But when he was out there, the quarterback did throw to him at a higher rate than the other players?
How much of that is just by default? Like, who is your competition to get those types of throws?
No, sure, that's a lot. That's a lot of
Hollins and Coleman spent the second half of the season disappointing them.
Yep.
And Hollins was a nice story, but
he's still not just
right.
It's not a guy you're throwing to a lot.
Probably not.
Even when he's out there.
So the whole story about receiver in that mix about like after edge rusher, maybe after defensive tackle, maybe after safety, I don't know that it looks like a very easy offseason to find what it is they need. That's probably a draft pick. It's probably a draft pick in the second or third or fourth round where they're going for somebody.
So that might be something you think they leave for the draft again.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What level of receiver could they sign where we would think, all right, they're done? If they sign Hollywood Brown, they're done. What if they sign Darius Slayton?
No. I mean,
are they done?
Well, they could be. We'd be doing it again, entering another year. We're like, okay, let's see how this goes.
But even that's different. Hollywood Brown, you're saying, you're walking into draft night, day 2. Like, oh, they're not picking one here. Where's he going to play? Who's he going over?
Yeah.
They signed Darius Slayton. Are we going into night 2 thinking, okay, they could do it tonight?
No.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Slayton's he's had a bunch of injuries. He's suffered to count on there, right? I don't know. They're going to focus 1,000,000% on their defense and reinventing their defense, and I just think that Josh Allen is going to maybe win MVP again because they're going to everybody eats that offense. It was good before. The question is, can they find their way to someone other than James Cook being the explosive piece? I mean, Shakir did it a couple times. Coleman did it a couple times. Hollins did it a couple times.
But like you said, it's not really the offseason for that.
It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like the offseason to get a weapon that, forget production is a way to talk about it. It's just other teams are going to have to worry about this player. That's what the Garrett thing is. I want the Bills to get players that heading into the week, our conversation is, what is the opponent going to do about this guy? Garrett gives you that. And on offense, right now that's Allen and I guess maybe some Cook and maybe some Shakir, and people are waiting for Kincaid to become that. It has not happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they can find that guy in this offseason clearly. It's more about finding, I guess, an upgraded Cooper.
And it's finding a skill set. It's finding a guy that is just a speed demon.
Right.
And the thing, though, about that, you kind of want that to grow as the season goes on. You want to be able to take a shot on that and maybe not expect it to hit right away, and then you just get a little bit lucky. Because there isn't that player. There's nobody they would even pick, I would say, or sign in free agency where walking in, it's the player you're talking about. Where, the defense, they got to worry about this guy. They got a game plan about this guy. They just have to have him. They have to have the conscious, he's out there. That's probably not happening beginning of the year. But can I even get a watered-down version of Worthy for this? Worthy at the beginning of the year, maybe he was this at the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, he was. By the end of the year, it was, just, watch out for that guy. You got to just make sure. You got to be on your toes when he's out there on the field. And if they draft a receiver at like the end of the second round who's got crazy speed, but maybe, why would he be at the end of the second round? He didn't do a lot in college, or he's really small, or he didn't test well at the combine, or is Isaiah Bond, this guy isn't one of the speed receivers that got a lot of injury stuff.
Yep.
Like, there's injury stuff with him. Like, whoever they draft or sign that fits that profile of, all right, watch out because of the speed, he's probably coming with baggage. I don't see them getting a guy like that doesn't come with baggage. So you're going to need to hope that baggage doesn't hamper the guy, whoever it is. If it's Hollywood Brown with his injury history and his age, or it's, again, a second or a third round rookie, you're just going to need to hit on that idea, whoever it is. Or is not even Samuel's different from the guy I'm thinking of. But if you look at the AFC Championship, by the way, you were right. He was fourth in receiver snaps, Cooper. Yeah, behind Hollins, Shakir was number one, then Hollins, then Coleman. Then Cooper, and who was at 44%, and then you got to go way down to Samuel, who's at 19%.
How about that clip we played coming in? Bean said, somebody sent this to me. Who sent it? Cooper's agent? Who sent that when he was in the lineup, he scored more points? Production wasn't there.
Joe Brady?
Nah, maybe.
Josh Allen? If it's one of those two, it might matter. Sure. If it's Cooper's agent, then, it's just the agent trying to get a deal.
Mike in Connecticut. Hey, Mike, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good.
I saw your tweet, Jeremy, about the next best idea aside from a star pass rusher. And, in my opinion, I feel someone that a lot of Bills fans aren't talking about enough is the idea of DJ Reed. I feel like I might be biased because, every time we play the Jets 2 times a year, I just feel like he's I'm not saying he's better than Sauce Gardner. I'm just saying he's the much more physical corner. Like, he's the guy you want to have on your team and you hate to go against. So, while I was waiting to get on, I was trying to get on Spot Track just to see, have an idea what his market value would be. Yeah. Obviously, I know it wouldn't be, spot on, but I don't think DJ Reed is a crazy idea, especially the fact, yes, he's looking for a big contract, but I think he's 28, so maybe a 3-year deal. I don't think you're breaking the bank, especially with the moves we've seen the Bills do in the past. I don't think that's a crazy idea. Mm-hmm. The only other thing is I don't know enough about DJ Jones, and I know that's a name that comes up in terms of defensive tackle, so I'm going to have to do my own research there. But just kind of want to hear your idea about DJ Reed and possibly maybe with the philosophical shift to maybe seeing a little bit more man. Not saying the Bills are going to do that, but with the coaching shifts, that's an idea that intrigues me.
Yeah. So DJ Reed, thanks, Mike, for the phone call. DJ Reed, corner with the Jets. He is a free agent. One number they have on him is that he has 6 straight seasons of a grade of 70 or higher for PFF, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
He is, if he's your corner 2, or, you've got Benford there who has shown some pretty elite production, that Reed would be a great number 2. Spot Trek puts him, it's funny, I almost want to not even think about dollars. 3 years, $14 million. Is 14 a lot?
14 per year?
Yeah. 14, is that a lot? The cap is going up $53 million. Is 14 a lot? I don't want to say it's a lot. I don't think it's a lot.
I want to think of it being 9 last year. Or 10 last year.
I don't even know what 9 was last year. I've said this before. I'm keeping the same energy the entire offseason. I don't care how much anybody costs. Go get everybody. Go get everybody and pay the bill in 2030. That's what the Bills should do. Mm-hmm. Go do that. You need DJ Reed? Get DJ Reed. Fine, get him. Get DJ Jones, defensive tackle, Denver, I believe is who he's talking about, DJ Jones. Get that guy too. And trade for Garrett and do this and sign the.
Yeah.
$14 million a year for a corner is too much? Whatever. Move the money around. Figure it out. Have the most expensive team in football. Really, pay the best players. Load it up. Reed has good underlying numbers, good overall numbers.
Yeah.
PFF has an advanced metric where it's lockdown percentage, how often you lock down your receiver, and he's got a good one of those. It also comes to fit, what kind of player they want. We mentioned
he's 5'9".
He is. Milton Williams is a guy that on the defensive you might like him, or is he too much like Ed Oliver because he's good against the pass? Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. Figuring out what they want. I just want them to be bold.
Is 28 an age where they would say, we just kind of did that with Douglas, and then the wheels fell off a little bit at the end. We'd like to add someone younger on the other side of that position. That's the maybe they would think that way. Yeah. I wonder how much money they think they can spend, though, this offseason.
There is no limit. They should spend an ungodly amount of money,
yeah,
and they should go over the cap to an embarrassing degree with the bill to come in 2030.
But we agree they're not going to do that. Right?
Why not?
Because it's not how they've ever acted.
I'm ready to hear one good reason why not.
I'm not saying that it's smart. I'm just saying they have never acted that way.
Josh Allen is 28 years old. He turns 29 in May.
I shouldn't say that, by the way. They said, Sal's brought this up a lot. Bean said we don't have the room to land a whale in an offseason. Then he signed Von Miller to $100 million. So I shouldn't say never. They did do it once.
They should fully design every contract from this day forward to amass talent and debt. They should get stupid with it. Josh Allen will be 29. How many years do you think you have? How many years do you think you have? You were in the AFC Championship game with a 28, now 29-year-old MVP quarterback. What world? What? You're a fantasy league. You're in fantasy football. You wouldn't be like, I can't do anything too bold. What? Are you crazy? Mm-hmm. You better be doing something bold. You better go after it.
If I were them, with Allen being 29, running the way he does, not saying this would have to be the end, I would build everything right now thinking I've got 4 years. I got to do it in 4 years.
Works for me.
I'm building everything to win in the next 4. After that, again, Allen will still only be, 33 at the end of that? Mm-hmm. And there's still a very good chance he's one of the best quarterbacks in football at 34 or 35 years old. But I want to look at this current window as they transitioned all those guys that were gone last year. Now I got a little more room than I had last year. I can do some bigger things. I can bring in some extra rookies because I got an extra second-round pick. I want to do everything in the name of I'm gonna do it in 4 years. I'm going to do it before he turns 34 years old.
Okay, 34. How many quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl at 34 or later?
Just in general?
Yeah.
I know Elway did twice.
Yep.
Was Brad Johnson 34 years old when he won?
Brad Johnson was exactly 34.
Okay. No, Nick Foles wouldn't have been that old, right?
No.
You have every quarterback's age? I mean, Brady won at 40.
He did, and at 43. Stafford was 34.
At 43, he won too?
Yeah, he won a lot, that Brady guy. Peyton Manning won his last one at 39.
He was terrible then, though.
He was old. Yeah, that's right.
But sure, right, that counts.
Breeze was 31.
Okay.
I mean, Brady's all over this list.
Just
and so many Bradys.
Are we just looking at a list that just says Mahomes, Brady, Mahomes?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. How old was Flacco when he won? 30?
Joe Flacco was
younger than that.
He was 28.
Okay. 28.
28. Roethlisberger's last Super Bowl, he was 26.
Really? He was 26 his last Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. 26.
So when did he play till 38? And he never won?
Yeah, he won in 2008.
Well, Tomlin became his coach, clearly. Stafford would have been in his 34?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep. I mean, guys do it. All-time. You have to be an all-time great.
He is one.
He probably is an all-time great.
Yes. That's why I even phrase it. I am not saying he can't win after 34. I just would want this current all-in type of mindset. I'm not sure. You can't be 100% sure. You can't be 100% sure even now. But I would want to believe, unless something crazy happens, something mind-boggling that you can't foresee, he's going to be a superstar for 4 years. Mm-hmm. After that, it's still very possible or even likely that he still will be. But I just don't know that I would keep it at you better bet on it. Guys sometimes take steps back. I don't know when his will come. He's a different type of quarterback than every guy you just named off. Rattle off. I don't have a good sample size of what quarterbacks that run like he does do, other than Cam Newton, who is kind of tough to gauge why it happened the way it did. He got in a car accident. He never fixed his throwing motion. He had a ton of injuries. Allen has not had a ton of injuries. He's had a bump and a bruise here and there. So, again, 4 years. DJ Jones, DJ Reed, these guys are going to help me for 2 or 3 of them.
Perfect.
I'm in.
803-0550.